And then I'm also going to start my screen share. Whoops, we got somebody else coming. All right. All right, I'm going to start my screen share, but we'll still wait a minute to get going. Okay, can you guys see my screen that says resistance training?
Yes.
All right, awesome. All right, we'll wait another like 2 minutes and then we will get into it. And we'll definitely we'll send out the recording to everybody too. I know a lot of people sign up for things and really just want the recording and don't, they can't maybe make the time, so that's fine. Because I think we literally have like 80 people in this challenge, so.
Yeah, just FYI, I think the email that we sent out this morning sent not people to the Zoom link at the Facebook group. But anyway, hopefully some people will
yes.
Whoops. All right, we'll find it.
I did notice that too. I was like, okay, well, I guess you can find it in a roundabout way on the Facebook group. So yeah, maybe it's taking people a minute to just to find the link. I'll start at like 1:03. I know we've had a few more people join since we were chatting, but we're covering the whole US right now. We've got people from Midwest, Northeast, Northwest, South. So we've got people from everywhere. All right, I think I'm just going to get started, and then whoever joins late will just, that's fine. They can just catch up where I'm at. So, well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining today and for joining live. I know it's hard to fit stuff into schedule sometimes, so thank you for joining. My name is Allison. I am one of the co-founders of Couture Fitness and Lifestyle Coaching. My other co-founder, Joe, is on here as well. Hello, Joe. So just really briefly, I will tell you guys a little bit about what Couture Fitness Coaching is. We are a virtual coaching program, and we provide structure, education, support, lifestyle coaching for people who want to get fit or lose weight. And Joe and I, we were really inspired to start this business because we have both competed in the bodybuilding or fitness competition world for quite a while. And when you do that, hello, Joe, when you're getting in amazing shape when you're doing something like that. And so we've both been asked lots of questions as we're training for those shows, and people want advice. And we realized that so much of the weight loss advice that is given by the dieting industry is just, it's wrong. It's not effective. Some of it is, maybe it works in the short term, but it actually ends up doing more long-term damage. And some of it is literally just unhealthy. And so we really wanted to create something different and much more positive. So that's just very briefly a little bit about our business and our backgrounds. I am a certified sports nutritionist. Joe is a certified life coach. Like I mentioned, we both consider ourselves to be amateur fitness competitors. Joe is actually training for a competition right now. She just started a few weeks ago. I think it's in April of this year. So follow along on her journey and watch how ripped she will be in just a couple of months. I last competed in 2018. I'm not sure when I will compete again, but I've definitely competed quite a bit in the past. But right now my passion is this business. So I'm focusing on that instead of competing right now. In a lot of ways, that sport of bodybuilding, it's really leading the way that we, I'm going to admit one more person, that we approach diet and exercise. We focus on metabolic health, which is so important, not only if you want to compete, but if you just want to be in good shape for forever. Metabolic health is so important. We ourselves have both trashed our metabolisms in the past. I'm not going to get into that here, but if you go to our website and download our metabolic health Q&A video or the how to improve your metabolism video, you can hear us talk a little bit about our own personal journeys and the mistakes that we made and some of the bad advice that we followed. But we've also run into so many friends and acquaintances who have either gone down the same path of ruining, I shouldn't say ruining, but temporarily damaging their metabolism, or just doing restrictive things. And so we really wanted to stop people from going down the same path that we went down. Okay. So I'm going to get into the strength training 101 now. So you guys hopefully have been receiving the emails, but basically the basis of the challenge is we want you guys to be doing at least 2 strength training workouts each week. And that can really just be anything that you have that you can do with the equipment that you have. So if you're going to the gym twice a week, awesome. If you are doing, maybe you've got some dumbbells at home and you're doing a dumbbell workout at home, great. If you have absolutely no equipment whatsoever, you can definitely get in a good strength training workout with 0 equipment. And you should have hopefully gotten our email that's got 3 different workouts in it. We show one that you can do if you have only dumbbells. We show one that you can do if you have bands. And then we show one that you can do if you have no equipment whatsoever. So if you've missed any of these emails, just send us an email or put it in the chat right now, and we'll make sure you get those emails so you can see those workouts. And then the other 2 pieces of the challenge, we want you to participate in the weekly poll that we're putting out in our Facebook group. If there is anybody here who's not yet in the Facebook group, you can search for it now. It's just called Boost Your Metabolism After Age 30 on Facebook, and I will approve you to get in. And then finally, the last part of our challenge, we will be posting in that Facebook group a Friday selfie challenge. And as long as we get at least 15 people to post a selfie of them, and you don't have to be flexing, it can be anything. You can just be, it can just be a picture of you that you took that day. But as long as we get 15 people to post, we will be awarding a $25 athletic gift card. And we just awarded one today. So that's the basis of the challenge. All right. So let's start. We're going to talk about why you should strength train. So I think a lot of people originally maybe get into strength training because they want to look good. So I've got aesthetics listed here. I'm going to check the chat. Okay, you didn't get the emails. I don't know if Joe has access to a computer, but if you want to send Christina that email, you can. And if you can't right now, Joe, we will get to it later today. And also, Christina, make sure you check your junk. Oftentimes, emails that contain a lot of links, which this one will go to junk or spam. So see if it's there first, and if it's not, we'll resend it to you. Okay, so back to why should I strength train? Aesthetics is definitely a common reason why people get into strength training. When we bring in new clients, we have a pretty detailed questionnaire that we have people fill out, and it helps us to design custom plans and configure that specifically to you. And I would say by far what most people list as their goal when they are submitting their questionnaire to us, at least women, they say they want to look toned. And I know people in the fitness industry, they kind of hate that word, but I know what people mean when they say toned. They want a little bit of muscle tone, not too much. They don't want to look like a jacked bodybuilder who's on steroids, a little bit of muscle tone and pretty lean. And so I put this picture of this woman here. This is kind of what I think of when I think of a toned woman. She's obviously got some muscle definition, not too much. She's not ripped. I think she looks beautiful. She's got a curvy physique. And so if you want to have that curvy hourglass physique, you have to lift weights. There's really no other way to achieve that unless you are some genetic freak who was born looking like that. And most people are not going to still look like that when they're in their 30s and 40s if they're not strength training. So aesthetics definitely it's okay to say you want to lift just to look better. And I would say most women would honestly look better if they focused on gaining 5 pounds of muscle as opposed to losing 5 pounds of fat. I know that's probably surprising, and maybe not what people want to hear, but it's true. If you just really focused on gaining muscle, the aesthetics always follow, and you would probably be happier by putting on with your body by putting on 5 pounds of muscle as opposed to losing 5 pounds of fat. So lifting weights, strength training is definitely going to make you look good. Another huge benefit is your metabolic health. The more we hear this all the time, muscle burns more calories than fat, and it's scientifically true. Muscle does burn 10 calories per pound per day. Fat burns 2 to 3, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you span that out over a year, knowing that it takes about 3,500 calories to put on 1 pound, just gaining 10 pounds of muscle could prevent you from gaining 10 pounds of fat over just 1 year. So that is huge. That is a lot of extra calories to be burning, even when you're just sitting there doing nothing, just by putting on a little bit of muscle. So definitely is going to help with your metabolism. Bone health, I know that's probably not something, if you're younger, you're probably not thinking about that. That's not something I ever would have thought of when I was in my 20s or even younger 30s. But as we get older, if we're not doing weight bearing activity, our bones are going to be getting weaker. And strength training is absolutely, without a doubt, the best way to keep your bones healthy. It will help, prevent so many injuries as you get older. So those are some other non-aesthetic benefits to strength training. And then it can also help prevent insulin resistance. Muscle just kind of helps process insulin. So it just does a lot that cardio simply doesn't do. And I actually go as far as saying that lifting weights is the fountain of youth. So lifting weights has so many benefits. Okay. All right, Christina. Yeah, we will definitely send that to you. Okay, so where should I begin? If you have never lifted before, it can be very intimidating to get started. I would tell somebody who has never done any form of strength training before, just go, check out our email and do that body weight workout. I think that's something that anybody can do. You can modify things. I think I do some push-ups in there. You can do those on your knees. I would literally just start there. Just do some body weight exercises. Keep it simple. Do it twice a week, and you will start to make progress. You will start to feel stronger. And then from there, maybe you can take things to the next level. But that's where I would start if you are brand new to this. Definitely pay attention to your form. It's so important just to prevent injuries. You don't want to be doing something wrong and hurt yourself. You also don't want to be doing something wrong to where you're maybe not even working the muscle that you're trying to work. I know that might sound weird. Maybe we can talk about that more at the end, but really, really focus on your form when you're getting started. Definitely watch instructional videos of somebody doing it properly, and then take a video of yourself. If you're not sure if you are doing it right, you can send it to Joe and I, and we will let you know if you're doing it right. But usually you can probably tell just kind of by watching it yourself. So I would definitely do that if you are new. So there's a concept called progressive overload, and this is kind of how you can continue to improve indefinitely and get stronger. There's no need to change your program up all the time. You might have heard like, oh, you need to confuse your muscles and you need to do different things all the time. That is not true. I probably haven't changed my program, and maybe this isn't a good thing, but I probably haven't really changed it in like 5 years at least. I basically do the same lifts all the time, but I am constantly trying to get just a little bit stronger. I've been lifting basically my entire adult life, so I'm not going to be making drastic gains anymore with what I lift. When you first start out, you will see really fast improvements. So I'll just give an example. Let's say, you're brand new to strength training. Let's say you've got some dumbbells and maybe you're doing a shoulder press like this. And maybe when you first start out, you're doing it with 5-pound dumbbells. Well, you should pretty quickly be able to progress, and you'll realize after maybe just a few weeks, like, oh, wow, I can do that now with 10-pound dumbbells. But you're going to get to a point if you've been lifting for a while where that's just not going to to come as frequently as it did in the beginning. So what I focus on is every month or so, I will try to add one more rep to what I was doing, or maybe go up on weight with something, but it's like every couple of months. It's not like every time I lift, I'm getting heavier and heavier, because obviously, there's going to come a point when I just can't go any heavier anymore. So really, once you get going, really just focus on doing, maybe one more rep than you did last week, or eventually, if you can do 15 or 20 reps with something, it's probably getting to the point where it's too easy and you do need to make it harder by increasing the weight. So really that's the best way to continue to challenge yourself and continue to make progress. Even if you have, you can't really change up your plan, that's okay. Just focus on that progressive overload. Find a good plan and just lift twice a week. It really, especially if you're new, any sort of decent plan is going to get you results. So just pick one of those plans we sent, do that twice a week, and you will make progress if you are consistent. Okay, determining what weight to use for each exercise. We get this question a lot of like, well, how much should I be lifting? We can't really know unless we are physically there with somebody. We can't really tell you, well, you should do, 3 sets of 15 reps on the shoulder press, and you need to use 10-pound dumbbells. We can't tell. Some people might need to use 5-pound dumbbells. Some people might be using 20-pound dumbbells. So as a general rule, what I tell people, and I kind of touched on this, a few seconds ago, was if you get to the point where you can do 15 reps of something and you are like, okay, I could probably do like a few more, you probably need to go up in weight. So just pick a weight, start. And if you can do more than 15 reps and without sacrificing your form, you probably can lift a little bit heavier next time. And eventually it'll just take you a little bit of time. Eventually you will figure out what weight is good for you for any given exercise. And then the last thing I want to touch on, the mind muscle connection. Really think about the muscle that you're supposed to be working. So for example, if you're doing a shoulder press, I'm probably going to use that example for this entire presentation because it's one you can actually see me do. If you're doing a shoulder press, really think about your shoulders working. Sometimes it's really easy for other muscles to kind of take over. And then if you're doing it, just a little bit wrong or not thinking about the muscle you're supposed to be working, you might be working an entirely different muscle, or you might be doing it wrong to where you could injure yourself. So really think about the muscle that you're supposed to be working. All right, does anybody have any questions so far? If you wanna, you can speak up or you can put them in the chat.
Sure. I have a question. Is there a point where you just maintain and not go any higher in weight?
I mean, I think everybody's eventually going to get to that point. Otherwise, at some point I'd be shoulder pressing with 1,000-pound dumbbells. So yeah, you're going to get to a point. Most people probably have some sort of like genetic potential that, that they can get to, but it's going to take a really long time. I mean, like I said, I've been lifting my entire life. Now I've certainly had periods where I've had to like back off or completely stop, like when I've had 3 children. So like, I've gone through periods of time when I really couldn't lift, when I was, towards the end of my pregnancy or right after having a baby. But I've been lifting pretty consistently my entire life, and I'm still very, very incrementally improving. But like I said, it's coming really slow. So yeah, people will reach a genetic potential, but it will take so much time, perfect programming. You're going to have to be lifting more than 2 days a week to get you to your genetic potential for sure. Like you probably, if you want to get to your true genetic potential, you're probably going to be lifting 4 or 5 days a week. You're going to be lifting with a barbell and a squat rack, really big lifts. So it will take you a while, but yeah, you're eventually going to, get to a point where that is literally as heavy as you're ever going to be able to go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Joe. I'll pipe in with something.
Mhm.
Like might be like if you are kind of maxing out on a lift where you might want to, like after 12 or 24 weeks, like change a lift, like do a different shoulder exercise, and that might recruit some different muscle fibers and allow you to progress in that way.
Mhm.
You don't need to be doing something different every week that you would actually not progress at all. But that's where changing up your programming every 12 weeks or 6 months might gain you some extra strength.
Yeah, that's what I probably need to listen to that advice, because like I said, I kind of just do the same thing for years on end. But yes, that would be another way to keep improving, in addition to the incrementally adding another rep or going up in weight, for sure. Okay, so what equipment do I need? Like I said, you can literally have nothing. You can get started with just your body weight. You can also get really creative. So if you don't have any equipment and you're not ready to invest in any actual workout equipment yet, there are some things you can do to add more weight to the exercises you're doing. So one thing you can do is take a backpack, fill it with books, and do like your lower body exercises. You can do squats and lunges with that weighted backpack on. You can fill milk jugs with water. You can get like, I've seen people get like soup cans to do like shoulder exercises. So if you have nothing and you're not ready to buy anything, use your body weight and get creative. The next thing we tell people, if you're like, okay, I've done the body weight stuff and I'm ready to add in a few more exercises and take it, maybe to the next level, we suggest a good next thing for people to buy is just a set of bands like I showed here. And I also I just picked this one because it had that super ripped guy in the picture. And there's so many different sets of bands that are very, very similar to this on Amazon. That's where I bought my set. I think you can get this set here for somewhere between like $30 and $40. So it's very cheap. It comes in a bag, just like it's shown here. It hardly takes up any room. It's very lightweight. You could travel with it. So if you have nothing but your body weight and bands, you really can hit all of your different muscle groups just with those things, just with the set of bands. If you want to take it to the level after that, I would suggest getting some dumbbells. You don't need like a full set like you'd find in a gym. I think just having a set of, 10s, 15s, and 20s is great. You can look for dumbbells. I mean, if you want to buy them new, fine, but you can try to find them used on like Facebook Marketplace. People are always selling old fitness equipment. And then finally, if you are more advanced and really want to take it to the next level, you can go somewhere where they've got some different machines and maybe cables, but a barbell, if you really want to take it to the next level, a barbell and a squat rack is what's going to get you to that much more advanced level. Okay, we had a question. What is the brand of the bands, or what brand do you like? I don't even know what brand I have. We can send one out. Maybe I will, I'll make a note that we will send that out in a future email, or we will post about it in the Facebook group. I'll at least do that. Post about it in the Facebook group. Yeah, I don't remember what brand I have, but that's a good question. I think if you go on Amazon and find one that has a lot of reviews and good reviews, and it looks similar to what I'm showing here, then you're probably going to be safe. But we'll still link one in the Facebook group. All right, any other questions? Okay, so how do I know what exercises to do? Well, obviously, first of all, okay, yes, there is an exercise chart on there. Yeah, that would be helpful. Oops, sorry. Okay. So how do I know what exercises to do? So if you're just getting started, you can definitely follow the workouts that we put in the email with the videos. I know some of our clients are on here, so clients, just follow the plan that your coach has given you. But generally what you want to do is focus on the bigger muscles. So growing those large muscle groups is going to give you the most bang for your buck. It's going to, really provide the most metabolic health benefits, burn more calories if you develop them. So you want to focus on these things here, like the glutes, the lats, quads, hamstrings, shoulders, instead of focusing on, like, you don't want to spend a lot of time doing like bicep curls or tricep kickbacks or things that work the little muscles. We still work them a little bit, but a lot of the lifts that we try to program into our clients' programming, really, they work the big muscles, but they also work the little muscles as well. So for example, when you're doing a push-up, that's mostly like a chest muscle exercise, but you're getting your abs are working, your back is working, your triceps are working. So things like that are the best things that you can do. And I'll get to that in just a minute, some actual examples. We've talked about this. Focus on that progressive overload. Keep your same programming for somewhere around at least 2 to 4 months, and really just focus on going, gradually going a little bit heavier or adding one more rep before you change things, because you will be able to progress for that time. Especially if you're in your first year of lifting, you should be able to progress really well over that first year. And then it's going to really slow down after that, but you can make amazing progress in your first year of lifting. Some of the exercises that we really like: squats, lunges, those are going to work all of those lower body muscles. Shoulder press, obviously that works your shoulders. A lat pull down, so working like the lats right here, those back muscles. Assisted pull-ups. Pull-ups are my favorite. I feel like they're the ultimate sign of being in shape. So pull-ups are amazing. They work your entire upper body and your core. Deadlifts, I know that's a really advanced exercise, but if you can work up to doing a deadlift, that's awesome. And push-ups are also great. We just talked about how many different muscle groups push-ups hit. And then finally, you really just want to try to hit all of your different body parts throughout a week. So you wouldn't want to say just do upper body exercises and completely ignore your lower body, or vice versa. Any questions about how to know what exercises to do? All right. Okay, soreness. So this is definitely something that impacts people when they're first starting out. So I remember the first time I ever lifted weights seriously was I was a junior in high school, and I took a weightlifting class. And I remember the first day we ever did upper body, I did a bench press, and I could barely do the bar with the bench press because I'd never lifted before. And I remember going to my next class and being like, why can I not write? Like, what's wrong with me? I can't hold my pen. And I realized my arms were like, they were so tired, I could barely hold them up to write. And then the next day we did lower body, and I almost fell down the stairs going back into the weight room because my legs were so tired from lifting. So the first time when you first start strength training, you're going to be sore, your muscles are going to be really tired, but know that that will subside pretty quickly. Like, I do not really get sore much anymore, and that does not mean I'm not getting a good workout in. My muscles are just more accustomed to it. So if you're starting out and you're getting super sore, know that it will get better. And that's another point I want to make, is just because you're not sore doesn't mean you didn't get a good workout. So don't think, well, I'm not sore, my workout was worthless. That's not true. So some ways to handle soreness: don't work the same body part 2 days in a row. So you would not want to be doing a bunch of shoulder exercises today and then more shoulder exercises tomorrow. You want to give your body at least 1 day of rest in between that same body part. So one way you could do that is maybe you could do one upper body day and one lower body day, or you could do 2 full body days, as long as they're not, 1 day right after another. You can take an Epsom salt bath. That helps some people. And just getting in some sort of light activity like walking. We definitely love walking. We are big proponents of just getting your steps in, not necessarily in high intensity cardio, but literally just, trying to shoot for getting lots of steps in. So that will help you to be less sore. Something like yoga is another really good way to work out some of that soreness. One thing you might want to do if you have the time is, alternate between strength training one day, maybe yoga the next day, and then maybe you take a break and then strength training the next day, and then yoga the day after that. That might be a good way to set up your programming when you're just starting to strength train. Any questions, or is anybody here struggling with soreness, or maybe they were when they first started? All right, I'm going to move on. Okay, so how do I get a perky booty and a small waist? So this was actually me in 2018. That was the last competition that I did. And then 1 month later, I got pregnant with my third baby. So I haven't competed since then. But we're going to tell you a secret about basically how do fitness models train, or how do bikini competitors train. And I will tell you, we do not waste our time doing what people consider toning work. We don't waste our time, lifting 2-pound weights for like 30 reps, or, running for hours on end. We focus on lifting heavy and hitting the big body parts. And that is how you get that look. You get that tight toned look by having a lot of muscle on your frame. I remember the first time I ever did a competition in my early 20s. I did not look that good. I didn't look like I do in this picture. But I remember thinking, oh, I've got so much muscle on me. I've got, my legs are big, and it's because they have so much muscle on them. And I remember when I got, at the end of my training, when I got really lean, I was pretty disappointed with how little muscle I actually had on my body and how much was actually fat. And I think most women, if you've never gotten this lean before, I think most women would be really shocked to see how little muscle they actually have on their bodies. Once you strip a lot of the fat away, it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize I had so much of that was fat, and so little of it was muscle. So if your goal is to be tight and lean, which, as I said, when we got started, most women tell us that is their goal. They want that toned look. If you want that look, you have to lift heavy. If you want to, you also have to be eating enough. That's one thing that we're not going to get into in detail today, but you cannot build muscle if you're not eating enough. And enough is somewhere between 1,800 and 2,200 calories for a female. Men can usually eat quite a bit more than that. I feel like their range varies even more too. I mean, anywhere between, I don't know, 2,200 calories up to like 3,500 calories for men. So do not be afraid to lift heavy. You cannot get too much muscle. You cannot accidentally wake up one day and be like, oh my gosh, I put on too much muscle. I'm so bulky now. When you see bodybuilders, when you think of bodybuilders, you probably think of just like super jacked people with just tons of muscle. They're probably on steroids. I was not on steroids here when I trained for this show. I was actually one of the more muscular girls in the bikini division, believe it or not, here. It's really hard to put on muscle. So do not be afraid that you are going to put on too much muscle. You have to be working very hard and eating for it, meaning eating a lot, and honestly, probably taking steroids to put on what most people would consider too much muscle. And you definitely, if you want that hourglass shape, so in the bikini world, that's what the judges look for. You want to have, good shoulders. You really want to focus on the muscles that are going to build you up and give you that hourglass shape. So you're going to focus on your glutes, your shoulders, and your lats, and that's how you get that curvy look. This is not done by running hours and hours a week or doing lots of cardio, or when I say a toning workout, I'm thinking something like maybe like a group fitness class where you've got light weights and you're doing, you're alternating between jumping around and doing plyometrics with like, okay, now we're going to do like 30 shoulder presses. That is not going to get you the look that you want.
Yeah, or Allison, I would say like a bar class or a Pilates class. There's just not enough stress on your muscles to build anything.
Yes, I agree. And like, I think Pilates has a place. Like if you want to do Pilates one day a week because you feel like it's good for your core, great. Like that's wonderful. But if you want that toned look, you've got to be lifting weights.
Could I ask a question?
Of course.
What is considered lifting heavy?
So that really depends on the person. And I would just take it back to what I said earlier. Anything, it's so individual. Anytime you can do, and I'm going to use that 15 reps again. If you are doing something that's so heavy that you cannot do more than 15 reps with it, then I would say that's heavy. So if you are doing, if you can only do 12, let's say you can only do 12 reps with 10-pound dumbbells before you just can't do anymore, that is heavy for you.
Okay.
So it's not like a certain weight. It's really just, I would just use that 15 reps kind of as a guide.
So it's
But what we,
go ahead.
oh, I was just going to give an example for me and Allison. You actually deadlift more than I do, but I'm deadlifting well over 100 pounds right now. So I would be doing that instead of going to like a something body pump where you're doing like 30 reps of like a 15-pound dumbbell. So that's what we're talking about. Like it's whatever is heavy for you, that you can do like 10 to 12 reps.
Thank you.
Yep. That was a really good question though.
So these body pump classes are really quite useless. They don't do what we need them to do to get our bodies where we want them to get.
I would not say they are useless. I mean, that's very relative. Like if you're saying, well, should I sit on the TV and eat a bag of potato chips or go to a body pump class? You know, I'm going to say, go to the body pump class. Yes. But if you were to say, I want to get in shape, I have 2 hours a week, what should I do? I would say, lift weights. You do not have to be huffing and puffing to get a good workout. That is such a myth. And I believed that for so long. I thought that I had to do cardio almost every day. Let me tell you, I wish I had a picture, honestly, handy. I would love to show you. You can find them all over like our social media and in our videos. Look at a picture of me in my 20s when I was doing lots of cardio and eating less than I am now. I did not look as fit as I do now that I'm eating more and work and doing basically no cardio. I just get my steps in. I don't really do hardly any cardio. So yeah, I would say if you've got, you know, if you were to ask us how should I best get in shape, focus on lifting heavy for you, heavy with proper form for you. And that is the best way to do so. So yeah, so the body pump, it's not worthless, but I would not, if you can do this instead, I would not waste my time by going to a class like that.
Thank you. And you mentioned steps. How many steps should we be getting a day?
Do you know have you ever tracked your steps?
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay. Do you know how many you typically get? I mean, 10,000, of course, is that's a great number. That's quite a bit. So if you can get 10,000 a day, I would say that's great. But if you're like getting 4,000 a day now, maybe shoot for 6,000 and then eventually work your way up to 10,000.
Okay.
Allison, I have a question.
Sure.
So when you say to lift heavy enough that 15th rep is like your max, what happens so coach has told me to do 4 sets of 15 reps. So the first set, then okay, I can shoulder press 10 pounds the first set. But by the time, the more sets I do, the less I can do. So I don't want to do 10 pounds because I'll never make it through my 4 sets.
Sure. Yeah. I would start with your 10 pounds. And then if by the 4th set, you're like, all I can do is 5-pound dumbbells, then that's totally fine. Just do that. Or maybe you start with, maybe you can do 15 reps with your 10-pound dumbbells for the first 2 sets, but maybe by the last set, you can only do 13 reps. That's totally fine too. 15 is not like some absolute where it's like, you have to get to 15. If you can only do 13 before you feel like I can't do another one, or I'm going to be doing this with really bad form, then just do that. And eventually you will get stronger. You will get to a point where you can do 4 sets of 15 with your 10-pound dumbbells. So yeah, if you need to do it with a lower weight though for your last couple sets, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so many good questions, you guys. These are awesome. Anything else?
Hey, I have whoever asked the question about the steps, come back for our challenge in March, because that will be around steps and what we call NEAT activity.
Oh, good. Okay. Can you mix it up, do dumbbells and bands in a same workout period?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of our, our clients who have customized plans, if they told us they had bands and dumbbells to work with in their home, yeah, they would definitely probably in one given workout, for a day, they probably would have band and dumbbell exercises in it for sure. Now, if you're thinking of like our, the workouts we send out, sure, you can, you can pick and choose if you understand what body part and exercise is working. You might say, well, I don't want to do a band shoulder lateral raise. Maybe I want to do that with dumbbells. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Good. Also, is there a preference as to whether you use dumbbells or barbells, or is there a place for both?
There's definitely a place for both. I use both. So if you have access to all of this equipment, that's awesome. There are certainly some things you really just can't do with a barbell, or you can't do with dumbbells. So like a lateral shoulder raise, you have to do that with dumbbells. But a squat, if you have a barbell, it's just a lot easier to get a barbell on your back and squat than it is to hold two heavy dumbbells and squat. So it really just depends on the exercise, but I kind of consider barbell work to be like the gold standard. If you can work your way up to where you're doing things with the barbell, like if you can shoulder press with the barbell, if you can squat with the barbell, that's kind of, I consider that, that should be everyone's goal. Get to the point where you can do stuff with the barbell. And if you just are limited in equipment and you're like, well, I'm never going to have access to a barbell, that's okay. That's perfectly okay. They all have their place and they're all great, but that's, I feel like you can get the heaviest lifting done when you're using a barbell.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, really, really good questions. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, so how do I know if I'm getting stronger? So your workouts should start to feel easier, and it's just going to come pretty quickly if you're new to this. I mean, if you lift consistently for 3 months, your workouts should be a lot easier at the end of those 3 months than they were at the beginning. So just know that if you are consistent, you will get stronger. Being able to lift more weight or do more reps with the same weight than when you started, obviously that is a sign you are getting stronger. Becoming less sore or feeling less depleted after your workouts, definitely a sign that your body is, adapting and getting stronger. And then being hungrier is another sign. And it's a great sign that your metabolism is, it's doing its thing. So if you are like, man, I started lifting weights and I just feel so much hungrier, don't eat. If you are hungry, eat, and just make sure you're eating whole unprocessed foods. And you need to be eating if you want to put on muscle. So that's another sign that things are working. If you notice you're hungrier. I mean, I used to notice, I don't really do a leg day usually. I usually split my leg day up into two, but I remember when I had set my programming up to where I was doing like one leg day a week, I would be so hungry on leg day, just because I was working those big muscles on that day.
Can you gain muscle, eat more, but not lose weight and get smaller?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you definitely can. So if you, I would honestly tell people, if you want to get in shape, focus first on building muscle. That is the best thing you can do. That is so much more important than just trying to get the scale down a few pounds. Focus on building muscle and the rest will follow. So we, if you followed our stuff, we walk a lot of our clients through what's called a reverse diet, which is something we do for the many women that come to us under eating. And I'm not saying like, oh, you're so, you don't know any better and you're not eating enough. I did the same thing for many years. And so did Joe. But that's literally why we created this business. So we have a lot of women who work with us who we first have to just focus on getting their food up to a healthy level, because they're eating so little, there's nowhere we can cut their calories to help them lose weight. So we have to first just improve their metabolic state. Get them eating more food. We have all of our clients doing strength training, but a lot of them, they might see the scale stay the same, But we know that they're putting on muscle and simultaneously losing fat because of their waist measurement. So if you want to know if you are losing fat and gaining muscle, take your waist measurement. And if that is going down, even if the scale is not moving, you know you are making amazing progress. So I look to that more with our clients, especially those who are doing a reverse diet. I look that carries more weight for me than what the scale is doing, for sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What else? All right. I've got some more slides I can show, but do you guys have any other questions?
Can you get to a point where you're actually not losing any weight, not losing any more measurement, but you're getting smaller visibly?
I mean, if you're getting smaller, you would probably be seeing it in your measurements.
Okay.
I think that's also, though, you would probably have to be measuring everything. And if you do this for a while, you realize that like you will come to learn how you lose weight. So like Allison said, I'm getting ready to do a fitness competition. I just know all the weight or it will all come off my waist first. And then at the very, very bitter end of that cut, or right before I go on stage, I'll lose like, I don't know, half an inch, maybe an inch from my hips. And that's just, and a little bit from my thighs, but a lot comes off of my waist and like my lats and shoulders. That's just how my body is put together and kind of where I hold on to fat. So you almost would need to do like measurements in different parts of your body. Like your hips may not change for like 4 months, and then a little bit will come off at the end if you don't carry much weight in your hips. So I would just say you kind of just have to get to know your body
and take pictures. I mean, one thing you could do if you really wanted to, track this super accurately, you could do something like a DEXA scan or a bod pod. I know that can get really, that it can be expensive and it can be really time consuming. But if you don't want to do something like that, just take pictures of yourself at the same, once every month or, every couple of months. And eventually, like, you should see progress. Here, I'm going to show, I know we've got some slides in here. Okay, so here's some progress pictures from one of our clients. So she actually came to us. She was eating enough when she came to us. And so we were able to start her in a fat loss phase. At least 50% of the clients we work with come to us not able to start in a fat loss phase because they're simply not eating enough. But she was just overeating. She had gained weight during COVID. She wasn't over exercising. So she came to us in a really healthy spot. Her metabolism was in a healthy spot, I should say. And so we started her on a plan where we cut her calories a little bit. And she lost, I hope I get these numbers right. I want to say between the first picture on the left and the middle picture, she probably lost about 20 pounds, cutting her calories. She was lifting weights 3 days a week. She was doing, I'm just going to guess here, maybe 30 minutes a week of cardio. And then she had a step goal as well. But then so the middle picture to the picture on the right is all the progress she made on her reverse diet. So once somebody either hits their goal, or we think their body has reached a plateau and is just not going to respond anymore and their calories are low, we then embark on a reverse diet. And so the progress that you see between the middle picture and the picture on the right is all from her doing a reverse diet. So she she ended her fat loss phase eating about 1,600 calories. So right there in the middle, she's probably eating about 1,600 calories, and we gradually walked her calories up to over 2,000 calories a day. And we also took out all of her cardio and had her lifting. I think I added in a 4th day of lifting for her. And she lost more weight, which wasn't really the goal. She lost at least 5 more pounds between those two pictures simply by adding in more food. But you can see how much tighter she looks. She lost a little bit of weight, but she just looks so much tighter from the lifting and putting on muscle. I mean, she looks like a fitness model there on the right. So that's it really shows what weights can do for your body here.
Yeah, and I think she lost another 3 inches off her waist once we started giving her more food, after that middle picture.
Probably, I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, her waist looks amazing.
Yeah, I know. I think she told me that because she was like, I know, why is my waist continuing to shrink when I'm eating more? I'm like, well,
yep,
because.
And so now she is maintaining, I wish I remembered what her goal it was. I think she's under the weight she originally said she wanted to get to. She is maintaining that by doing no formal cardio. She's hitting a step goal. She's lifting 3 or 4 days a week, and she is eating over 2,000 calories. And she's been maintaining this weight now for months and months. That look you see on the right. So it's very doable. I mean, you can fit 3 or 4 lifting sessions into your week. I think probably anyone can. She's doing a step goal, so she's not wasting any of her time going to jump on an elliptical or a treadmill. And she's eating a lot of food. And when you're eating 2,000 calories a day, you can fit anything into your day. I mean, I don't mean like a dozen donuts, but like you can have a donut every day, or you can have dessert every single night, or you can have a glass of wine on occasion. That's a good amount of food. So she is in such an awesome place. And that's really where we want to get all of our clients. Oh, I feel like I'm going to stop the share for a minute because I need to admit somebody. Okay. And I will share again. Okay. So I just wanted to show an example of just what lifting can do for your body. Okay, I'm going to try to go back. Whoops. Okay, well, does anybody, before I go to our last slide, does anybody have any questions?
Does age matter?
So I will say anybody can make amazing progress no matter what your age. I wish I had a picture in here. If you have your phone or a computer with you, and if you have an Instagram account, everybody should look up Train with Joan. She is a 75-year-old woman who started lifting, I want to say when she was 70. Joe, you might know more details about her story than me. But she was not in shape at age 70, and her daughter, who is a bodybuilder, basically said, hey, I'm either going to have to put you into a nursing home or you're going to start lifting weights. And she chose to start lifting weights. And I would say she's kind of ripped. She is 75. She can wear a bikini. She looks great. She has very visible muscle tone, and she started when she was 70. So I will say, if you're 20, it's going to be easier to put on muscle just because of hormones. But if you are 40, 50, 60, or even 70, you will make progress if you strength train. And she is an awesome example of that. There's another woman that I follow. Her name is Rebecca Woody. If you want to look her up on Instagram, it's Rebecca R. Woody. She is also in her 70s. She has rheumatoid arthritis, and she is a bodybuilder as well. And she is amazing. She's got videos of herself doing pull-ups on her Instagram. She does photo shoots where she's in Daisy Duke shorts in her 70s, which I think is awesome. So sure, it will be a little more challenging if you are, I would say, postmenopausal because of hormones, but don't let that deter you, because you can make absolutely amazing progress at any age, and it is only going to help you with injuries and bone health, no matter what your age is. So look those people up. They are truly inspirational.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Joan is the best example. I mean, I think her daughter was like, we're going to the nursing home today. Like, I have no choice. Like, she had all sorts of different things going on, and she turned it around in about 3 years. I mean, she walks around in like crop tops, leggings. She has a lot on her YouTube channel. She's so inspiring. So if you are ever thinking it's too late, I'm too old, that is not true.
It is not true. Yeah, she is ridiculously cute. Okay, well, I can't believe we went almost a full hour. So I'm going to finish with this. So Thank you guys so much for signing up for the challenge. If you are interested in getting doing a program with us, we start all of our programs at the start of a quarter. Our next one will begin in April. We just want to tell you guys very quickly what you get if you're interested in getting something more customized to you. So I mentioned at the beginning, we have all of our clients fill out a very detailed questionnaire about what their goals are, their dieting history, what equipment they have access to, all kinds of things. You will be assigned a personal coach who will create a plan for you. You work with a person. It's not an app. It's not a cookie cutter program. It is truly customized to you. You will do check-ins with your coach every single week. You know, they'll look at your data and determine whether you need to make changes. We also do weekly coaching calls. Jo leads those, and right now she's doing 2 a week. So one of them is, you know, content that she has planned. And then the other one is just an open coaching call where you can come and ask any questions you might have, whether that's, you know, I have unsupportive family, or how do I get in more protein, or, you know, tell me how to do this lift. It can literally be anything. You also get added to our private Facebook group where we share, you know, motivational stories from our clients, we tips and tricks and recipes. You have constant email support with your coach. Our prices are listed here. You can go to our website if you want to look at some of our transformations. And then finally, if you're not aware, we also have a podcast. It's the same name as that Facebook group. It's just called Boost Your Metabolism After Age 30. We have got a lot of good content out there on the podcast as well. So that is what I will end with, unless anybody has any questions, or Jo, unless you wanted to say anything else before we finish.
Yeah, any questions that anyone has, but I do want to say, like, if you just want to come back and do the monthly challenge with us every month, we would love that. Our intent behind that is just to really help you form the habits of a lifestyle where you are healthy and you're aging strong. All of these things are the keys to maintaining a healthy weight for life. But the challenges are really, you know, just to help really dispel some of the terrible information out there that has people cutting out entire food groups, spending hours and hours on treadmills that don't work and are really unhealthy for you. So we would love to have you in our free challenge every month. You can't do it too much. You can do it all year long, basically, and probably make a little progress. It just isn't going to be customized to you like our programs are going to be, but we would love to have you, and you know, you could probably make progress that way and learn a lot. So I just wanted to mention that. And that's really, I mean, Allison and I we work full time. This is kind of our passion project, and we just want to be able to support women to age, you know. We will probably do a podcast on this. The problems that undereating causes it's almost, I would say, almost worse than overeating. You can't imagine the things that we see. And we're not talking about people, I mean, that have like eating disorders, but just chronic dieting causes so many problems as you get older. And you don't want to wake up to the wake up call where, you know, your insulin resistance, you have no muscle left on your body, your bones are brittle. Let's get building those healthy habits earlier.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, if you guys think of questions, you can email us at any time, and we will help you out. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the great questions. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks, everyone.